Hi, friends. All right, so you might notice that I have like a different background behind me, and you would be correct because I do, because I'm not at home, I'm traveling. And I wanted to offer a little yoga practice, yes, but also aura cleanse slash energy protection that we can both work with, and also goddess that we can invoke. Chamo Lam Lha. She's a Tibetan goddess, um, for when we travel. Okay. She is um, the goddess who watches over travelers. She is a subtle protectress. I'll see if I can spit that out. By the way, the sun just went behind a cloud, so it might pop back out. And if it does, it's going to shine very brightly. Just a heads up, okay? Uh, but anyway, she's often shown riding a golden bee. I love it. The bee is a perfect symbol for travel. It's small, aware, and able to sense danger or disruption long before we notice it. Chamo Lam Lha reminded me a lot of the god Ganesha. If you are familiar with yoga or the teaching of Ganesha, he's a remover of obstacles. So his seed sound is Lam. He's associated with the root chakra, and he rides a mouse. And the mouse is like it's small, right? So it gets into the places and spaces that we don't see, and it removes the obstacles and destroys them and all the things, right? Clears the path for us. It's the same vibration with the bee. So the bee moves into hidden spaces, reads the environment with full presence, and keeps the path clear. When we travel, especially with long drives and crowded airports and navigating unfamiliar places, our bodies get stiff and our digestion just gets a little out of whack. Our energy field definitely just gets porous. And then a lot of times we can get very ungrounded if you know what your doshas are and you've got a lot of vada like me. It can feel very, it takes me some time. Like I have to do things to ground specifically because if I don't, I am like flighty. So it's really important that I do things to ground when I travel anywhere, especially if air travel. And there's like long air travel. Don't even get me started. I have to do things to like root down. Anyway, you might be the same. Chamo Lam Lha helps us stay safe, centered, and sovereign in motion. She sees what we can't, she protects the subtle body, and she guides our return home. So today's practice is inspired by her, and we'll begin with soft grounding. And then we'll get into the hips. We actually do a little bit of toe squat as well, just because, like, feet shoved in shoes, your toes are like squished, right? Um, so we do a little bit of that. We get into the low back, and um, we also get into the spine, do a little bit of cat cows. And we're going to also weave in a little bit of breath of fire to support digestion. Now, of course, if you are on your menstrual cycle, first few days, if you're pregnant, skip it. If you're pregnant, skip it entirely. Don't do it. Just do long, slow breaths. And then if you're on your menstrual cycle and it's the first few days, you may just want to do long, slow breaths regardless. Um, with pregnancy, it's kind of it's one of those things you definitely don't want to hold and squeeze at the end. If breath of fire is something that's already a part of your practice and you're under the 5 month, you know, but I'm just going to say don't do it. Okay. For this practice, now I understand that many of you may not travel with props. So in this case, you will need a towel at most. If you don't have a yoga mat, man, you guys, I brought a yoga mat with me, right? And I was so pleasantly surprised that my hotel room not only had a sanitized yoga mat, I tried to reenact my happiness. It did a terrible job, by the way. I'll show you a little video. but it had sanitized yoga mats and blocks. Like what? I don't think I've ever stayed in a hotel room this nice before, by the way. So I'm using their yoga mat because like that's so much fun. But I did also bring a strap because I drove. So I understand though, like that may not be the case for all of you. But if you have a belt, you could use a belt. Otherwise, you're going to grab a towel, and you can use a towel also for your yoga mat if you don't have a yoga mat. But you're going to need two towels if that's the case. So you're going to take your towel like so and roll it lengthwise. So it's gonna like be like this. Okay. So you will need that for sure, or a strap if you have it, or a belt if you have that, and a mat, or you know, um, but that's it, and your body, and an open mind. I think that's it. There is a lot of just longer holds on these. We're doing more yin than not. And I think that's all I got. So I can't wait to do yoga with you today and invoke some Chamo Lam Lha. If you want to know more about her, I'm going to do a podcast episode for her specifically, season 2 of Sovereign Reality with Natalie on Spotify and Apple, or on my website. Season 1's already out, but season 2 comes out in the fall. And then of course I did drop a couple of things about her on TikTok and Instagram. So go find me over there as well. Okay, let's get to it. We'll begin today's practice in Child's Pose, or Garup Danam, as it's known in Kundalini. Bring the big toes together behind you, make a space between the knees, and allow your torso to melt down to the mat. The intention is to bring the body as close to the earth as possible. So if you find that it's a little challenging to bring the forehead to the earth or to the mat, you can always stack the fists. Or if the hips come up off the heels or the low back is a little bit tight, you can place the rolled up towel behind the knees to help assist with any discomfort. If the forehead is rested on the mat, I invite you to bring the palms of the hands together in prayer hands. And no matter where you are, we're all going to envision ourselves in this shape of a bee. If the hands are in prayer, then you'll intend that there's a golden energy shooting out the fingertips. And if the forehead is rested on the fists, then you'll intend that a golden energy shoots out from the crown of your head. And this golden energy clears out your auric field. It clears out any darkness, any stagnation, any energy that's just not yours, that attached to you along your travels. And of course, you can ask Chamo Lam Lha for any additional clearing and protection while in Child's Pose. On your next in-breath, we'll just intend for that same golden energy to come in through the fingertips, through the crown of the head, all the way down through your beautiful spine, down through your sacrum, your low back, and just fill up your entire being with beautiful, golden, sparkling light. If the forehead is rested on the mat, you might decide you'd like to flex the arms and point the fingertips to the sky. And no matter where you are, you might decide you'd like to give some gratitude for safe travels thus far. On your next out breath, I invite you to plant the hands. Gently press yourself up and back into a tabletop pose. Coming into tabletop, we'll go ahead and tuck the toes. Allow the belly to droop down toward the mat, collarbones spread. Find your cow, and on your exhale, tilt the pelvis forward, round out through your back, find cat. And then just a few more like that, cat and cows. Inhaling and exhaling at your own breath and pace. Checking in with the hands that the fingers are spread wide, the pads of the fingers are pressed down into the mat. And moving however you need to move with your cat and cow. Good, and then keeping the toes tucked, we'll start to shift the hips back toward the heels. So coming into toe squat. Now we want to make sure we include our pinky toes, but sometimes it's anatomically just not possible for some of us, and that's okay. If all of your weight on your heels is way too intense, then put some of the weight into your hands. Find your toe squat of choice and stay a while. We will be here for 1 minute. Hands can rest gently in the lap, or you can bring the palms together in Anjali Mudra at the heart space. The spleen, liver, stomach, and gallbladder meridian lines are being stimulated in this pose. So if you are a nervous traveler, this is actually a good pose for you. But of course, if you are in any pain at all, or if you're just getting to a place where this is just way too intense, please come out of the pose. And on your next out breath, let's all come into tabletop pose, release, toe squat in whatever ways you need to. On your in breath, walk the hands out about a palm length in front. Exhale your way into plank and then down dog. You can stay in tabletop as well. We're finding our way into swan or sleeping swan. From either down dog or tabletop, the right leg will come up. We'll exhale right knee to right elbow, right ankle behind left wrist. And then depending on where you are, the left leg is going to come down long onto the mat behind you. So that will be your tail. From here, let's go ahead and grab hold of our towels and place it underneath our right hip and bring our right foot in closer toward our left hip crease. I used to be a big advocate of bringing the shin parallel with the top of the mat, but that's actually not so good for our joints. And I want all of us to maintain healthy joints as we get older. So you get to decide here. If you want to stay upright, please do. If you want to fold over the top of your leg for sleeping swan, please do. The only other thing I'd like to encourage you to check in on is your back leg. Sometimes that back foot can have a tendency to sickle out. So just make sure the top of the foot is connected with the earth. Sometimes you have to tuck the toes and do what they call straightening out the tail behind you. And sometimes that might mean that you have to stay upright instead of folding over the top of the leg for now. And that's okay. That's why we give ourselves grace and compassion no matter where we are. So while we are here, we're going to visualize channels in the pelvis. This is the Tibetan Sa or pranic pathways. And we're going to envision them unfolding like small corridors. And we'll visualize Chamo Lam Lha's bee hovering along these paths, guarding, clearing, and protecting us. And of course, if you want to incorporate micro, and I do mean micro, like the tiniest movements or very, very gentle rocking, just to move any subtle energy, you can. But again, and I can't emphasize it enough, make sure it's very subtle and micro to avoid any stress or injury. And by the way, if this pose is just not something that you love or enjoy, please lie on your back and take a figure 4 posture. If you would like, on your next out breath, press into the hands, flex the left leg, and reach for the left ankle or toes with the right hand, just for a little interesting sensation slash stretch before making your way back into tabletop or downward facing dog. And again, please only do this if you absolutely can or want to. And I'll meet you in either tabletop or down dog. So setting up now for sleeping swan or swan on the left side. You choose whether from down dog or tabletop. And we are doing the same exact thing with the towel and foot placement. So left foot in close toward the right hip crease, and then of course the towel now underneath the left hip. Of course, keeping in mind that this side might look and feel different than the right side, and that's completely normal. So just honor whatever it is that your body needs. You might decide that you would like to keep visualizing the energy channels in the pelvis, or perhaps you would like an affirmation. If you already know of one and you're already repeating it, fantastic. But if you need one, you might try, I travel through space and energy fields with clarity, protection, and sovereignty. I'll say it again, so don't worry. I travel through space and energy fields with clarity, protection, and sovereignty. One more time. I travel through space and energy fields with clarity, protection, and sovereignty. On your next out breath, press into the hands, flex the right leg, maybe reach for the right ankle or toes or whatever have you with the left or the right hand, and maybe see how that feels if you want or if it's available to you. And this time, instead of going into down dog or tabletop, we'll just remove the towel from beneath the hip and lean onto the left hip and bring both legs out in front of you. Now I'm going to turn to face you. You can just bring the legs out in front. Shake out your knees, make any little adjustments that you need to. And we're going to set up for half butterfly. You will need your strap or your towel. Draw your left foot in toward you and stretch the right leg straight out to the side. For this first part, we do want to have an elongated spine. Now place the rolled up towel or the strap around the sole of the right foot. We're going to take a deep breath in and out, and a deep breath halfway in, and breath of fire. Now you can go at your own speed and your own pace here. The breath is coming from the navel, so the navel is pumping the breath. Mula Bandh is active here, so the pelvic floor is lifted. Shoulders are drawn away from the ears and the spine is still elongated. So we are getting into the liver and the kidney meridian lines as well as the urinary bladder line. Additionally, the diaphragm is doing a little dance on our digestive tract. So our digestive system is getting a little bit of a wake up. A lot of times when we are traveling, digestion can get very thrown off. So this is just kind of waking things up and stimulating that fire, that digestive fire. Keep going. You got this. Just a few more seconds. Deep breath in and hold. Squeeze Mula Bandh. Squeeze everything tight. Eyes look up toward the third eye space. Stay closed. Exhale when you need to. And now for our yin portion of half butterfly. So here is where you are welcome to fold over the extended leg and round out through the spine if it feels good, letting gravity do more of the work. You might notice the hips opening, the hamstrings releasing, and the low back softening. Stay here, noticing the energy shift, the release, the subtle warmth in your body. Let your mind soften. You don't need to do anything. Just be here. On your next out breath, we'll find our way back up to a neutral spine, release the strap or the towel, and lean back onto the hands, plant the soles of the feet, and do this little windshield viper motion with the knees just to help release the low back. And now setting up for half butterfly on the opposite side. Grab hold of your strap or your towel, sit up tall, and we'll begin our breath of fire with a deep inhale and then exhale, and then inhale halfway and begin. Of course, go as fast or as slow as you would like. You can slow it down just, or you can go even faster than I'm going. It just depends on how you're feeling and your preference. And of course, you can just do long, slow breaths if that calls to you as well.
Just a few more seconds. You've got it. Remember, keep the spine elongated, keep the shoulders away from the ears. Deep breath in. Squeeze Mulaban. Eyes look up to the third eye space. Eyes closed. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And exhale as you need to. We'll find our way into the yin version of half butterfly. Maybe rounding out through the spine here. Maybe if your body is welcoming and invitational only, you can walk the hands down closer toward the toes. Nothing to do here but be. Just letting the energy settle, feeling the release in the low back, and feeling the warmth that's been created and generated within your beautiful body.
On your next exhale, release whatever prop you're using from around your foot. Lean back onto the hands, plant the soles of the feet, and do that little windshield wiper motion with the knees once more. Then come to a comfortable seat or lie down if you prefer. Make any adjustments that you need to make with your clothes or moving props off to the side, whatever you've got to do here to get comfortable. If you are in a seated posture, we'll bring the hands to the Gyan Mudra, so thumb and index finger touching, palms facing up, and eyes closed. If you need a little extra support in your seated position, you can sit on a towel. This will help drive the pelvis forward and elongate the spine. Close your eyes. Take a slow breath in through the nose and release through the mouth. And again, inhale gently. Exhale and soften the body. Now bring awareness to the physical body. Feel the weight of your hips, your legs, your feet. Notice the muscles of the back, the shoulders, the jaw. This is the Annamaya Kosha, the physical layer of your being. Imagine the golden bee of Chamo Lam Lha moving gently around your body, scanning the physical field with quiet vigilance, watching over joints, muscles, and bones. Allow the body to soften under her watchful presence. Now bring awareness to the breath. Feel the inhale filling the lungs, the exhale releasing slowly. This is the Pranamaya Kosha, the layer of life force, prana moving through the body. Imagine Chamo Lam Lha guiding the golden bee through the currents of your breath, moving through the channels of energy, clearing and balancing the flow. Each breath becomes smoother steadier, protected. Now notice the mind. Thoughts may drift in and out. Images, memories, plans. This is the Manamaya Kosha, the layer of thoughts and emotions. Picture the golden bee moving gently through the mental field, touching the places where thoughts gather, bringing calm and clarity. Nothing needs to be pushed away. Her presence simply watches, aware. Bring your awareness deeper now into the quiet knowing beneath thought. This is the Vijnamaya Kosha, the layer of intuition and inner wisdom. Here, Chamo Lam Lha is not just a guardian, she is a guide. Her golden bee rests in this space of awareness, reminding you that wisdom lives within you. Feel the steadiness of that knowing. Now allow your awareness to rest in the deepest layer, the Anandamaya Kosha, the subtle field of peace, presence, and connection. Here there is spaciousness, quiet, stillness. Imagine the golden light of Chamo Lam Lha expanding softly through this layer, blessing the entire field of your being. Body, breath, mind, intuition, and spirit, all held within her protective awareness. You can start bringing some subtle movement back into the body. Maybe start noticing the breath, wiggling hands and feet. Maybe full body stretch if you're on your back. Maybe gentle neck rolls if you are seated upright. If you're lying down, you can stay in Shavasana if you have the time and space, or if you're ready to come out of Shavasana, please slowly find your way into a seated posture. We'll bring our hands to meet in the Anjali Mudra right at the heart space. May this soft golden light surround you, traveling with you wherever you go. May your path be clear, your body protected, and may your mind remain calm and awake to the beauty around you. And may every road you walk carry you exactly where your soul is meant to be. If the ground in front of you isn't too dirty and you feel comfortable enough, you can plant the fingertips onto the ground and then bring the forehead down to touch. This is nice to do after any sort of meditation. It just sort of grounds you and brings you back into the space. I hope that you carry this steadiness with you as you continue on your journey. Thank you for practicing with me today. Sat Nam and Namaste.